The Quantity Theory of Money by Friedman. Friedman, in his essay, The Quantity Theory of Money, a restatement published in the year 1956, he beautifully restated the old quantity theory of money. In his restatement, he says that money does matter. The money doesn't matter. But he says here, money does matter. It's a theory of demand for money, not a theory of output, income or prices. It's purely a theory of demand for money. It's not a theory of output, income or prices. Secondly, Friedman distinguishes between the two types of demand for money. The first type is money is demanded for transaction purposes. So serves as a medium of exchange. So view as the same as the old quantity theory. Here money is a demand for transaction purposes as a medium of exchange. Second type, money is demanded because it is considered as an asset. First type, money is demanded for transaction purposes. It serves as a medium of exchange. The second view is same as the second view is money is demanded because it is considered as an asset. First type is money is demanded for transaction purposes as a medium of exchange. This view of money is the same as in the old quantity theory. The second type is money is demanded because it is considered as an asset. Money is more basic than the medium of exchange. It is temporary abode of purchasing power, an asset or a part of wealth. Friedman treats the demand for money as a part of the wealth theory. Thirdly, Friedman treats the demand for money just like the demand for any durable consumer good. The first view is money is demanded for transaction purposes. Second type, money is demanded because it is considered as an asset. The third view is he treats demand for money just like the demand for any durable consumer good. The demand for money depends on three factors: the total wealth to be held in various forms, the price or return from these various assets, taste and preference of the asset holders. Because the demand for money depends on three factors, the first factor is the total wealth to be held in various forms, price or return from these various assets, taste and preference of the asset holders. Friedman considers 5 different forms in which wealth can be held. One is money, M, bonds, equities, physical, non-human goods and human capital. What are the 5 different forms? One is money, denoted as M, bonds B, equities E, physical non-human goods, it's represented as a G, and human capital. In a broad sense, these all types of income, what Friedman means aggregate nominal permanent income. By income, Friedman means an aggregate a nominal permanent income. The average expected yield from wealth during its lifetime. Wealth during its lifetime. Okay. And the wealth holders distribute their total wealth among its various forms in order to maximize the utility from them. So the people distribute their total wealth, or the wealth holders distribute their total wealth among its various forms in order to maximize utility from them. So they distribute the assets is equal to the right at which they are willing to do. They distribute the assets is equal to the right at which they are willing to do. Or they distribute assets, or they substitute one form of wealth for another in order to get an equal to the right at which they are willing to do. Cost of holding various assets except human capital by the rate of interest. Cost of holding various assets measured by the rate of interest on various assets. The expected change in their prices also affected. Friedman says there are 4 factors that determine the demand for money. One is the price level, another is the real income, another is the rate of interest, the fourth one is the rate of increase in the price level. The demand for money is a uniquely elastic, and the relationship between the demand for money and the real income, demand for money and the real income is also direct, but it is not proportional as in the case of price. Changes in the price level cause direct and proportional changes in the demand for money. Changes in the price level cause direct and proportional changes in the demand for money. What happens here? The demand for money and the real income is also direct, but it is not proportional as in the case of price. Here, the price level causes direct and proportional changes in the demand for money. Changes in the real income create direct but more than proportional changes in the demand for money. Changes in the real income create direct but more than proportional changes in the demand for money. The rate of interest and the rate of increase in the price level also constitute the cost of holding cash balances. If money is kept in the form of cash, it does not earn any income. It could earn some income in the form of interest to the owner when the same money is lent out. It could earn some income in the form of interest to the owner if he doesn't keep in the form of cash, because it does not earn any income if he decided to keep in the form of cash. If he decided to keep money in the form of cash, if the same money is lent out, it could earn same income in the form of interest to the owner. But he explained earlier, the rate of interest and the rate of increase in the price level constitute the cost of holding cash balances. The interest is the cost of holding cash. Okay. The interest is the cost of holding cash. There is an inverse relationship between the rate of interest and the demand for money. At a higher rate of interest, the demand for money would be less. It says an inverse relationship between rate of interest and the demand for money. Higher the rate of interest, the demand for money would be less. Lower the rate of interest creates an increase in the demand for money. The interest is the cost of holding cash, and this interest rate is an inverse relationship between with the demand for money. There is an inverse relationship. At a higher rate of interest, demand for money would be less. Lower rate of interest has increasing demand for money. Rate of increase in the price levels also influences the demand for money. Is an inverse relationship between rate of increase in the price level and the demand for money. There is an inverse relationship between the rate of increase in the price level and the demand for money. Here also, rate of interest and the demand for money has an inverse relationship. Here the price level causes a direct and proportional changes in the demand for money. So direct. So create a direct one. Lower rate of interest create an increase in the demand for money. Here the rate of interest and the demand for money has an inverse relationship. Here the rate of increase in the price level also influences the demand for money. So the rate of increase in the price level and the demand for money has an inverse relationship. Price level increases at a higher rate, the cost of holding money will increase. So they hold smaller cash balances, the demand for money will decline. On the other hand, the price level increases at lower rate, the cost of holding money will decline. So the demand for money is increases when the price level increases at low rate. If the price level increases at a high rate, the cost of holding money will increase. The price level increase at low rate, the cost of holding money will decline. So the demand for money is increases. Here the demand for money will decline. Fourthly, Friedman believed that each form of wealth, its own characteristics and a different yield or return. Money includes currency, demand deposits and time deposits which yield interest. Here the price level falls, the rate of return on money is positive because the value of money increases. When the price level falls, the rate of return on money is positive because the value of money is increases. And what happens when the price level is increases? The value of money falls and the rate of return is negative. Here the price level falls, the value of money increases. Price level rises, the value of money falls. The rate of return is negative. Here the rate of return is positive. Okay. Price level falls, the rate of return is positive. Price level rises, rate of return is negative. P is an important variable in the demand function of Friedman. Okay. due to is an international constraint, it's a very difficult to measure the conversion of human to non-human wealth. There is some possibility of substituting human wealth for non-human wealth. Non-human wealth to human wealth or ratio of wealth to income as W. Income velocity of demand for money is greater than unity. The taste and preferences of wealth holders also affect the demand function. The tastes and the preference of the wealth holders also affect the demand function. These variables are represented by M. But say certain variables like the tastes and preferences of the wealth holders also affect the demand function, so represented by M. Non-human wealth to human wealth or the ratio of wealth to income represented as W. Friedman's demand function on the basis of above assumptions and formulation. So Friedman's demand function is to be derived, so symbolically expressed as M is a function of total permanent income. Okay, total permanent income, general price level. M means total demand for money is a function of total permanent income, general price level, market interest rate on bonds, market interest rate on equities, and the nominal return for physical goods, nominal return from physical goods, ratio of non-human to human wealth, and variables affecting tastes and preferences on the wealth holders. Okay, here the total demand for money is a function of total permanent income or the money income available to the wealth holder. So total permanent income, here what P is general price level, RP that's the market interest rate on bonds, market interest rate on equities. But we say it's a nominal return from physical goods, nominal return from physical goods, 1 by P into dP by dt. That's a nominal return from physical goods. So ratio of non-human to human wealth. Y U is the variables affecting, that means the tastes and preferences on the wealth holders. Again, by assuming RB and RE, RB and RE, what RB and RB? Market interest rate on bonds, RE market interest rate on equities. Market interest rate on bonds and market interest rate on equities to be stable. It's an assumption. Friedman replaces the variables representing as the bonds and the equities, and we rewritten homogeneous of the first degree P and V. We got M by P equal to is a function of this. So second equation we already says what it means. And Friedman's by transformed into the theory of money income determination by taking it with a stable velocity. The third equation written as like, and the fourth equation it's a similar to the fourth equation, so similar to the Cambridge cash transaction quantity equation, M equal to K into Py, and Friedman uses simple Y to denote money income Py. Friedman uses simple Y to denote money income Py. The Cambridge equation becomes M equal to K and Y, that's 1 by V into Y. And again, so written as the sixth equation. Interpreting the Cambridge equation M equal to K and Y in terms of Friedman symbols, M includes time deposits, Y is the permanent income, K is the equivalent to Friedman's functions. Okay. So final equation from here to here. The final equation, Friedman's equations becomes the usual quantity theory equation where V is the income velocity. Thus Friedman's money income determination equation to the quantity theory is a simplified form of Cambridge equation. It's a simplified form of Cambridge equation, and the fourth equation is similar to the Cambridge transaction, cash transaction quantity equation. Okay, interpreting the Cambridge equation here also, the Friedman's money income determination equation of the quantity theory is a simplified form of the Cambridge equation. Quantity theory of money, the supply of money is independent of demand for money due to the actions of monetary authorities. If the supply of money changes, the demand for money remains more or less stable. If the demand and the amount of money which people want to have as a cash or bank deposits is more or less fixed to their permanent income. The amount of money which people want to have as cash, the amount of money which people want to have as bank deposits, okay, which the amount of money want to have as a cash, amount of money want to have as a bank deposits, more or less fixed to their permanent income. So central bank purchases securities. People who sell securities to the central bank receive money, and this leads to increase in the cash holdings. If the central bank purchases securities, that leads to an increase in the cash holdings in the people who sell securities to the central bank. People will spend this excess money partially on consumer goods and partially by purchasing assets. And this spending reduces their cash balances, and it also rise in the national income. Here, central bank purchase securities, that leads to increase the cash holdings of the people. So they will spend this excess money partially on the consumer goods and partially by purchasing assets, and it reduces the cash balances, but at the same time it rises in the national income. If the central bank sells securities, the money holding of the people reduces in relation to their income. The money holding of the people reduces if the central bank sells securities and increase their cash partially by reducing their consumption and partially by selling their assets. What happens here? When the central bank purchases securities, they partially on consumer goods and partially by purchasing assets from the excess money. Here, partially by reducing their consumption, try to increase their cash. Here, they spend their excess money. Let's try to increase their cash partially by reducing their consumption and partially by selling their assets. It's also reduce national income. In both the cases, demand for money remains stable. In both cases, demand for money remains stable. It's possible to predict the demand for money. Is possible to predict the effect of changes in the supply of money on expenditure and income. If the economy is at less than full employment level, increase the supply of money raises the expenditure, output and employment levels. If the economy is at less than full employment level, an increase in the supply of money. If the economy at less than full employment level, an increase in the supply of money raises the expenditure, output and employment level. But it's not possible in the short run. So Friedman's quantity theory of money, what he explained diagrammatically. So situation, demand for money, and supply of money is the vertical, this supply of money, and empty is the demand for money. What's here explained? Y-axis measures the income level. Okay, x-axis measures the demand and supply of money. X-axis measures the demand and supply of money. Y-axis measures the income level. Okay, empty is the demand curve of money which changes along with income. MS is supply curve for money. And these two curves intersect at E. And equilibrium income level, OI is determined, equilibrium income level. An increase in the money supply, the supply curve shifts to M1, S1 at this level greater than the demand, and a new equilibrium is established at E At the new equilibrium level, the income increases to OY1. Income increases to from OY to OY1. Okay, income increases to OY to OY1 if there is an increase in the money supply. Here, x-axis measures the demand and supply of money. Y-axis measures the income level. So, an income equilibrium level of income, here the supply of money SM and the demand for money MT intersects at the point E is the equilibrium income level, and here what it represents as the demand and supply of money. If increase happens in the supply of money, the supply curve shifts to S1 SM to S1 M1. There is another equilibrium point, and the income level is changed from OY to OY1 and supply of money OM to OM1. So, Friedman's quantity theory of money. Okay, thank you.